A little after 5:30 a.m. We're gonna get a heat wave in Portland. Record breaking probably. Should be like 111 this weekend. So no running for me. Thought I'd get my long run out the way while it's still like 60-ish degrees. I'm gonna get up at like 4:30-ish or so and not happy about it, but hardest part about running is just getting out the door. Let's do this. Early morning run to beat the heat and bring the Hoka Clifton 8 to 50 miles. Total time was 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 2 seconds. Total distance, 10.28 miles. Average pace, 10 minutes and 7 seconds a mile. Average heart rate was 158 beats per minute, and the average cadence was 174 steps per minute. This shoe has made logging miles more enjoyable and a breeze, and the hardest part of the run this morning was actually getting out of bed. Once I was out there, the soft ride didn't make the long run seem so bad. Quick overview of the specs. The Clifton 8 has a EVA midsole, lightweight and early stage meta rocker, and an updated outsole with strategically placed rubber in more high wear areas. The EVA midsole is 50% lighter than the previous version, and it has a stated weight of 8.9 ounces for a men's size 9 and 7.6 ounces for women's size 8. In my size 8.5, it did come in at 8.4 ounces. This would be 0.2 ounces heavier than the Clifton 7. In the past, long runs just seemed daunting, and I did not look forward to them. Or I suppose I still don't look forward to them now, but with the Clifton 8, it has made long runs a little bit easier. Another thing I loved about the shoe is that it does well at slowly picking up the pace. And so one something I have to work on is being patient during a race and making sure that I work on getting negative splits. I am not the best at feeling how fast I'm going during a run. And so in some shoes, because they lean you a little bit too forward on your toes, I end up dashing from the beginning of the run, and I end up paying for it in later miles. So just look at these splits. I've been able to kind of work on that over the past few days in the Clifton 8. And I think that's because this shoe likes being at easy paces where I immediately don't start off too fast, but can still pick up the pace as the run progresses, and that's due to how lightweight the shoe is for a daily trainer. I think that it's a great shoe where you control it and not the other way around. The Clifton 8 definitely falls in the daily trainer, long run, recovery run categories. And while you can pick up the pace in these, it does not like varying the paces too much within the same run. And at some of the faster paces, it feels like it's more difficult than it needs to be. The midsole is soft, and there actually are some creases on it already. Hokas tend to have a lot of exposed midsole to reduce the weight, but despite the exposed EVA, there's actually minimal wear on this. They have updated the outsole, and most of the wear has been on the forefoot area and on the heel where I tend to strike. On the Clifton 7, the rubber would kind of end right about there. This extended a little bit further, and again, this should prolong the durability of the shoe. On the EVA sections, you kind of just have some wear on the outer parts of that, but in some sections, it's very minimal wear at all. So I do think that this shoe will probably get around 350 miles. Hokas are kind of known for being on the lower end, around 300 or so. And so I think that this is probably the most durable Clifton to date. For the upper, there's pretty much no wear at all. The only thing is it's kind of lost its shape where it just kind of falls down a bit, a little bit flat. But your foot easily fills that in once you put it on. Eyelet chain's fine, and the shoelaces are also fine. It's pretty much as new. I think the most noticeable is wear is going to be more on the EVA, on the creasing on the EVA, which is not that bad. Which, again, my only complaint is that I wish it was black, because I think that would make it slightly less noticeable. The midsole also softened up as I added more miles and was comfy on every run. However, it did lack responsiveness, and it felt like you had to work a little extra to get through your gait cycle. Aesthetically, I think they look fine. Compared to other Hoka shoes, it is more muted and subtle. An example being the heel. On some of Hoka's other offerings, it is pretty beefy and noticeable, and they extend pretty far out. I'm someone that pretty much exclusively wears running shoes casually, and so I do like shoes that work well with outfits, and you can, after a run, grab some coffee with them and they look great on you. I'm not as much of a fan of running shoes that look more like your classic running sneakers. Some cons is that this is not the most exciting shoe in the market. It is difficult to vary your paces, but it is a workhorse that you can easily pile on miles. Another con is going to be the upper. While it is very comfy, there is additional padding on the tongue compared to the Clifton 7. It's pretty beefy, and this does make the shoe pretty warm on your feet, and if your feet tend to sweat, it may cause some issues. I unfortunately got some blisters after today's run, and it got near mid-70s towards the end of my run. I think the extra padding is there for lockdown and comfort, but being released at the beginning of the summer, I think they could have gone with the lighter, more breathable mesh. For pros, the all-around comfort of both the midsole and the upper is really nice. Heat issues aside, the upper is comfortable. They updated the interior materials on there, and it's just a lot softer to the touch. And it does provide a solid lockdown without feeling too snug. Getting your shoes tied down to an ideal fit was pretty easy. And I do like the lacing system here. It had no issues whatsoever getting a good lace lockdown from the very beginning. And it just didn't bother me even if I cinched it pretty tight. The Clifton 8 retails at $130, and the previous version, the Clifton 7, can be found online for around $100. I would say that the Clifton 8 is a marginal improvement over the Clifton 7. However, it is not enough for me to justify the price difference. I would probably pick up the Clifton 7 on discount instead of the Clifton 8. That said, though, there are still some pros. Once again, it is a soft, comfortable ride, and this is still one of my favorite shoes I've ever run in. So if you're new to Hoka, definitely give them a try, as you'll fall in love with them instantly. And I very much look forward to trying out future releases from Hoka. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to subscribe for updates.